All right, welcome to Time Zones and Time Meters and our monthly listenings. So this will be June 2025. With me is Josh, also known as the Prog Wanderer. If you are not subscribed to our channel yet, do it because we put this kind of material out on a weekly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. Do you want to kick it off? Well, what have you been listening to in June?
June has been actually a lot of preparation for this channel. So we did the big
Yep.
Leprous special early on, so we're at the tail end, if I remember correctly, and so that meant Leprous is my top artist for the top artist for the month easily. With
Yep.
I think it's like 350 plays or something. So it's
Oh
a
yeah.
fair bit because I track all of this on Last FM, right? I've also got quite a few plays in for Katatonia. Specifically their new album. So I'm starting to sort of dig my claws into that one a little bit. And I'm finding it really interesting. I know lots of people are saying they're sort of been put to sleep by it, but I think there's more in this than what they're probably giving it sort of credit for. And for me, I don't know, Katatonia has always been one of those, a little bit like Leprous as well, in that you just have to give it time. And for me, I'm definitely giving it time. So I played through this album now probably about like 8 or 9 times. And I feel like I'm not even halfway through enough to really truly make a solid judgment of it. I think it starts really, really well though. I think this Nightmares as extensions of, oh my God, I hate albums that sound this long because I always get the wrong. What is it?
It's a
Nightmares as
mouthful.
extensions of the waking state. The one with the burning deer on it, which is
The
terrible.
Burning Deer
That's
record.
right. We're talking Simon the pescatarian, and also me for a large volume of my life has been pescatarian. So it's probably a terrible, horrific nightmare for us to watch. Anyway, I digress. The album starts really strong. It starts really strong, and I absolutely love the first two tracks on it. So that's like the Liquid Eye, I think it was, and Thrice, I think is really, really good.
Yep.
But you know, other than that, I do know what people mean in terms of it softens a bit and it's sort of meanders around a bit. But I like it so far, and I'm keen to continue exploring it. Have you checked it out yet?
Yeah, that was also my first thing that I was going to bring up was Katatonia's new album, and like I don't know if I had like this philosophical switch of I don't know if that's completely true, but I kind of felt like I don't want to be Simon's album reviews anymore because I'm not really I don't somehow I don't think it's correct to review albums. I think that if if music is done by a professional, a competent musician or musicians, and it has passion in it, so it's not uh, uninspired or rushed, then it's basically up to the listener to see if you can connect with it, so you have to be in the right headspace, and if you don't get there, it's on you, I would say. And that's a thing that I have with this. Like first listens, it did not really uh, catch me. I did very much enjoy the first single because it has like this complex rhythms. Um, it was not. I mean, discreetly, it is thrown in there on this album as well. But it really. I really had to have earphones on, be in the right headspace, and then it really resonated with me. I maybe it's I'm not a huge Catatonia guy, so maybe that's it. That I'm not expecting what the Catatonia listeners maybe are expecting. Um, I yeah, I in the end really enjoyed it. I also enjoyed that they put a song in Swedish in there. I don't know if they've done
Which I
that
of
before.
course have no fucking idea what he's singing. I hope it's
Yeah,
not
no,
Praise Satan though. That's the line that I hate from this album. But anyway.
yeah, but I think that track is one of the standout tracks from it. Yeah, really. Yeah, I also think just like you, it starts out very good. It kind of mellows out a little bit, but where I think that I got a little bit bored of it. They put that Swedish track in, and they finished strongly as well. I also thought the last track, which was more of, well, maybe that was the Swedish track that was a little bit more um, electric, so to speak, was very cool. It did something different.
Mm.
Maybe
I was just going to say, like, I don't know if people know, but with the split of the band a little bit, there's been a few sort of changes in the lineup, right? And they've added a few. I think the two other guys, I was keen to find out what they'd be like as sort of co-vocalists nearly. Like, I was curious about sort of the harmonies they might be able to pull off. And the same with the guitars, because I think they're both guitarists as well. So I was sort of wondering whether or not they would end up with a bigger sound. And in actual fact, they seem much more subtle. And the vocals that were in it were much more sort of, you know, light harmonies than anything else. So I thought that was really interesting, and it's something that I was really looking forward to seeing what direction they would go, and they ended up sort of in this space. So I don't know.
That said, the production is very fat. Like it's yeah,
yeah, it really is. And when they go wall, like there's a lot.
Yeah,
like there's a lot, right?
Big sound, yeah, very heavy.
Yeah, so I don't know. I like it. I think it's good. I think it's going to end up being, you know, more of the. So you know, my favorite Katatonia is actually just the melancholy, you know, maybe softer stuff as well. I like it when they hit the sort of progressive, you know, different beats like in the last album as well too. But for me, I quite like this soundscape. So you know, more of this kind of stuff is winning.
And I mean, if you pay attention to it, they got a lot of like rhythm stuff going on with like syncopated stuff, or even some you know, polyrhythms and odd time meter. I mean, they're progging around, but I think they do it maybe a little bit more discreet.
Yeah.
Not as in your face as on the last album, with maybe exception of that first single.
Atrium or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was from the last album.
Oh, you mean this album? I thought, the single was Lilac, I think was the first one they played, which was, but even that had some, I don't know, I really quite liked the.
I meant that one was a little bit, you know, very much proggy in your face, rhythm wise. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. What else do we explore, Simon?
Yeah. So except for Katatonia, I of course kept on venturing, digging in the past. So catching up on my big six prog bands, and I now come to a point where I'm really savoring these last albums. I've finished. I've now heard everything Pink Floyd of their you know, studio discography at least, which is 15 albums. The last one I listened to was the final cut. And
that's one of those moments where you get the achievement unlocked.
Yeah. So I got the ding, and it's bittersweet. You know, in one way, it does feel like an achievement. Now I've heard everything Pink Floyd. But on the same time, well, you know, it's bitter because now there's no more songs that I haven't heard. You know, maybe, you know, if I dig in some archive stuff, that there will be some unreleased stuff. But obviously, the major stuff, yeah, you know. So I really understand that. I'm basically scheduling for these other five British big prog bands of the 70s. I'm really, you know, scheduling them, making special events of it, because yeah, you know, they will not release any new stuff, most of these bands. Yeah, there's still 2 live recordings from Pink Floyd that I have to take care of.
And you enjoyed it? Where would you rate what you were listening to compared to their other stuff?
Actually, this record, the final cut, is it gets quite a bit of slack from the fan base, because it's kind of almost like a Roger Waters solo thing, and it's kind of like what did not maybe pass for The Wall it came after the wall. But I thought it was great. And I'm with these bands, I'm very forgiving, I have to say. You know, it's so up my alley that I think is also maybe a different thing if you're experiencing it in real time, and your expectations are other than when it's all released. No, this one is up there. I mean, not up there with the very favorites. The second last one I listened to was Animals, and that one is really really up there. But yeah, so I mean, I've taken 25 years to complete this discography, and yeah, yeah, it's a chapter that is
Congratulations.
closed. Yeah, 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 yeah. No,
That's,
the Final Cut was I thought it was a really cool experience, and it's kind of political as well, and you know that Roger Waters is like this very engaged in social justice, right? I think it resonates very good in these times as well, where social justice is kind
yeah.
of on the verge of
The
extinction.
more the more things change, the more they stay the same, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so that's cool. That's very cool. I did lots and lots and lots of bands this month. Like I feel like I did a lot of artists,
Mhm.
and got a good chunk. Like probably 3 or 4 playthroughs of quite a few albums. I'm starting to look back into sort of Haken. This is a little bit of foreshadowing for the future.
Yeah.
I'm looking into their album, like their earlier stuff, so Visions and also Aquarius. So I've been really surprised by how much I like Visions, and we'll talk about that in the future. I'll deep dive into this band a bit later on, but it's
I
been
should say, on the track here, Emerson, Lake and Palmer discography is coming up. So I also finished listening to Emerson, Lake and Palmer, but I will also save that for
yeah,
another day.
yeah. So that's that they. So I guess Haken is probably my sort of second or third sort of amount of plays I've put into this band at the moment. I did also, because we have, of course, did our best of 2024 stuff. So a lot of the bands that I was like looking at in the top sort of 8, 9, 7 positions, they all featured pretty highly in there too. I'm continuing my Rush
Oh,
stuff. So I've moved on to so I did Moving Pictures a fair few times before, but now I've moved on to 2112. Is that what people call it?
yeah, yeah,
They call it
sure.
2112. But
Uh,
yeah, so I played through the deluxe edition of that quite a few times, and I was also looking at Is It Permanent Waves.
yeah, and what are your thoughts about those?
Look, I'm enjoying it, to tell you the truth. I think, like, I'm just enjoying, like, I don't think I've listened to them enough. I've done both of them 3, 4 times. Yeah, 4 times. So I'm still in
This
like,
this is also like a little bit of a difference between us. You really want to listen to your albums a bunch of times.
I think I have like a general rule. If I make a judgment before 7 plays, then what I know is that it might not be. Like there's a chance it could change, or I might have missed something, or I could have just been in a shit mood. So,
Yeah.
so for me, I really do try and hit things about 7 times, I'd say, before kind of deciding yes or no. If I don't like it on the first play, and I just go, no, this is not my cup of tea, I won't bother again, or I might do a second one. But for me, I tend to come back to, especially bands that are so well regarded. Like if we're talking about, what's a good example? If we're
Yeah,
talking,
of course. An unknown band you will have a little less patience
yeah,
with. Yeah.
that's right. Especially if I've discovered something that I've really loved by them, right? So Haken's a good example of that actually, because some of their stuff I've gone, oh, I love that, it's really good, and other stuff I've gone, oh, I'm not so sure. So I'm probably more inclined to not make a judgment until I've got through each album, 7 or 8 times. And Rush is, I'm enjoying it. Like I'm enjoying it. I really enjoyed Moving Pictures. I thought that was great, and I feel like I've put a fair bit into that album now. And now I'm moving on, so I'm excited to just get into it. But no, it was good. It was good. Yes, I'll have to. We'll have to do a Rush topic one day too, because you're quite familiar with
Yeah,
them, aren't you?
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Mm.
What do you think of Geddy Lee's vocals?
I understand why people don't like them, but I actually think he's got some like singing chops. Like I
Yeah,
understand the placing of where he sings from, like through the like it's this
yeah, it's a
high
little bit
head
nasal
voice.
or something. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but I get why people might not like that, but I think he can actually sing quite well. I think the way
yeah.
like he phrases things is great. I like some of the delays on his lines. So,
Okay.
like
Oh,
it's like the music kicks
punctuation
in.
wise.
Well, or nearly like it's nearly like his phrasing just goes slightly over what the music's doing, or slightly
Yeah,
earlier,
yeah,
and I think it's very deliberate. And so I kind of like that
probably.
there's a little bit of, I don't know, it makes it feel real and like
I
you.
mean, it's one of the highest regarded bass players at the time, so I'm sure he can keep time.
Oh, for 100%, 100%. And the thing is like I quite like it when an artist knows their work so well that they can just like slightly change the timing of how they present things,
Play
and it
with
just
it.
changes the shape, right? And so I think he's played with these songs, or at least this is how I'm interpreting it,
Yeah, yeah,
enough to really experiment with when the vocals kick in on some things or when to draw things out. And I like his phrasing. I like the way he enunciates, and that sort of stuff. So no, I think it's so far I'm enjoying it, and I
cool.
do like the bass too. At
Yeah,
times I just
bass
go,
is awesome.
"Oh, cool!" Like I was
It's
expecting drumming that was creative. I was expecting that because of who they've inspired over the years, but I wasn't expecting the bass to be quite so. I don't know.
yeah,
Good.
and that's a bit funny because I mean this, well, as in many cases with prog bands, you have three super musicians, right? And a little bit because like also the guitar player Alex Lifeson is um, also a very highly regarded guitar player, and it does an awesome job. It's just that it gets constantly overshadowed by Neil Peart and Geddy Lee as for the rhythm section. So he's not always the topic of attention, or
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's another thing I had no idea. I'm glad you've asked a few questions on this. I had no idea it was a three piece.
yeah. No, you don't hear that.
I had no idea, and so their sound is good for that, right? Like
Oh yeah,
it
totally.
sounds way bigger than what it is. I thought it
And
was
I
going to
have
be
to
the five
say,
piece.
I told you this before. I'm going to tell you it again. If you like this, you really have to check out the other newer Canadian band who sounds very much like Rush. That is called uh, Crownlands. Um, that's they sound like Rush. It's a two piece, but their sound is just as big. But of course, it's not about how it's created; it's about how it sounds. But it's kind of amusing to see how they work that out. And with Emerson, Lake and Palmer, just so it's also a three piece, but it sounds huge. Yeah, that's. I mean, it's impressive. It's not what it's about, but it is a fun,
Yeah, fun fact and
fun
surprising when
fact.
you realize it. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course it has pros. It's not because they can work in unison, maybe in a different way. It gives another dynamic than if you have a six-piece band or whatever.
Mm.
All right. Um, yeah. So my last one here is a little bit of a segue marathon. I've I went to see last weekend. I went to see Soen, which was awesome. I was actually they were playing. They had so many shows scheduled in the Netherlands that I did not remember what show I actually bought tickets for. I thought I bought tickets for the show where they were playing together with Donk Tranquility and Equilibrium, and I didn't. I don't care too much for those bands, so I was like, I knew I was running a bit late to the show, but I thought, whatever, I just want to see So and the rest I don't care about. But the opener, uh, and because I was a bit late, I only heard four songs of them. They were called In Halo, and they were also actually very good. They did not have quite the stage show or routine, but maybe it is also because the scene is compromised, the stage is compromised. But yeah, it was also very cool. Maybe borderline too genty for me, but yeah, no, it was. I can absolutely. I think that would be actually up your alley
Yeah,
in
cool.
Halo.
I'll write that down.
Yeah, yeah, and let's see here. What did I have more? Um, yeah, so it's. I figured that I also mentioned on when we talked to Lupe with the South America episode that sometimes your best discoveries are not the discoveries that you're expecting to find, but stuff that you accidentally stumble upon, and it's a little bit out of your comfort zone. And you know that's how I discovered Soen also, because I mean I wanted more Opeth because of course Martin Lopez was the drummer of Opeth, and then you discover Soen, his band, and it's not very much like Opeth at all. And maybe that's what got me hooked as well. Just like when I wanted more Soen, I went to check out the stuff of the guitarist from there. Was his name Gideon? No. Well, it doesn't matter. That's how I stumbled upon Avatarium, and I totally got hooked on them. And talking about these accidental discoveries, I was I saw someone commenting on a video of Amy Winehouse, and there was some guy who had like a snarky comment on saying like, "You think this sounds good? Well, then you need to check your ears or something." And I thought, "Oh, come on, she sings great," and I had to check out this person's profile to see, well, what are you
Yeah,
listening to
who are
then?
you?
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
I bet that's shit. And so he had. This is a bit, you know, shame and a bit cringy maybe, but yeah. So he had the band Mew playing, and this was a band that was kind of big in the early 2000s, or like yeah, in the 2000s at least. And then I didn't pay them any attention, but man, it blew me away. Mew. I can't believe I didn't, you know, listen to them back then. Um, apparently this is the band that uh, Vola gets their inspiration from.
Yeah, cool.
Have you heard them?
I've definitely heard of them, but I haven't explored them at all. I think I wouldn't be surprised if I go in to check them out and go, "Oh, I do know," but
Yeah,
off the top of my head, I've got nothing.
yeah. So I mean, this is like I would say continuation of many of the progressive thoughts of progressive rock, but I mean, this is more like art rock. They really putting the art in there. Just an example, like the name Mew is also because it's like you know, it's just the same structure rotating, right? So
Totally.
it kind of
Yep.
looks the same upside down or whatever.
Hmm.
So it's aesthetically pleasing looking, and I mean they do lots of uh, conceptual things like that, just like the album names. They have one album is called uh, Friendgers, and then in parentheses, not quite friends, not quite strangers, or
Yeah,
something like
okay.
that.
Yeah.
And the next album, they just put the album title is a whole goddamn poem consisting out of 23 words. No more stories are told today. I'm sorry they washed away. No more stories. The world is gray. I'm tired. Let's wash away. Um, but also just shortened to no more stories usually because that's a bit long to say. But I mean, I love when bands weird out in that way.
Yeah.
They do more stuff like that. They have a like they put a bonus track of a very heartfelt ballad. Then
Hmm.
the bonus track, they do that in Japanese, and he sings just as heartfelt in Japanese as it does in English.
So I've got a
Um,
question for you. What
yeah,
did you end up telling the guy? So you discovered this band through
No, I
him.
didn't. I didn't. I didn't want to do him the honors, but uh, no, but I felt like I had to check it out because I loved what I was hearing, and I kept loving what I'm hearing, and indeed that No More Stories album is top tier of them.
Yeah, nice.
Um, um, I got one more like
Hmm.
fun fact. What I also was impressed by them was that I think that's the album after that, or it's the No More Stories album where I believe the first track is the audio is recorded in reverse, and uh, and then like the last track is like the instrumentals are recorded in reverse. So it's played it's backwards and in reverse, so it comes out right, so to speak. But it has a very strange sound
Yeah,
because of it,
right.
because you hear it's in reverse. It's not like one of those, you know, um, avant-garde stuff of the '60s. No, this sounds like good music, uh, but it's so experimental, so new thinking. And while they have like pop chorus and stuff like that, that is just I see this as progressive as can be, even though it doesn't fit in the prog rock um, genre.
Hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, and it was pretty cool to usually with these kind of bands you hear about what they did before you discover them, but it was pretty cool discovering it and realizing, oh, holy shit, what did they do here? This is amazing. And I think it's also because they have this name Mew, it's kind of difficult to search on. Like
Hmm.
if you search this on YouTube, they think you spelled new wrong,
Yeah, or you get
or
a
you get
Pokemon or something.
the Pokemon. Yeah, so I think I mean, they had like a peak where they sold some records, but I think not close to as big as they should have been. And they got chops. It's not focused on being complex, but they can fuck around with a time meter if they want to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. That's fun. That's a fun adventure to check out. I did
It was an
I
adventure. Yeah.
so there's two more things that I really wanted to talk about. The
Yeah.
first one is that Carnival just dropped a single.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they've just dropped a single, which is pretty cool. It's called Drone. That this is they haven't officially announced a new album. I don't think officially, but they've obviously been doing a bit of hype, saying that they've been doing stuff in like the production room and stuff, and you can see that they've just finished something, right? And they're
Yeah.
touring. I'm seeing them very soon, like very, very soon, I think in like a week or two, probably. But yeah, so I'll see them, and hopefully they'll play this. I imagine they will. But they just dropped it, and the song's great. Like
Yeah.
the
Okay.
track is
Cool.
fantastic. So yeah, check that out. I'm very excited about it because it's been way too long since they've released something. And also, I think, as you guys know, I didn't like the last album much. There was some real
Oh yeah.
bangers in it. I thought it was good, but like those songs were good, but I didn't like the album itself. But this one has some vibes that sort of give me, I don't know, sort of the days of old kind of feeling, which is kind of cool. They sound very carnival. What can I say? So that was awesome. I checked out the new the Deer Hunter EP as well. I've been checking that out and sort of familiarizing myself with it. It's quite. I found it quite hard to get into this one. Just it's quite playful. And different, and it's got some cool names actually. Let me some very memorable names. Just specifically, I think you'd quite like them. Where am I? The Deer Hunter, Magic Beans. There we go. Buri Tokyo. Classic
Hmm.
rock with a W, ROCK, Four Amigos, like Schlammin' Salmon or Schlammin'
It's a
Salmon.
little bit like the concept names, when before you give a track its name, you go like, this is the classic rock track, right? Let's call it that.
Maybe, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I really like Schlammin' Salmon because, of course, if you're an American, like Schlammin' is kind of, I'm sure, the way that some people would say it. So anyway, I thought it was kind of fun. It looks playful and should be a bit of, should be quite cool because I quite love this band. And the other one that I did do a little bit more into is Bird Mask. And I don't know if you know, but this is the solo work of Manuel. is it Gagnow or whatever it is, who's from Zealanada. Do you know Zealanada?
No.
No? Oh, you need to look those guys up.
Okay.
That's one for you to look up. It's look, this guy's got a voice like smooth velvet. His solo stuff, which is under Bird Mask, he just releases like a single. I don't think he's ever released an album, but there's now enough of them for me to kind of go, oh, that's like 10 songs or something. So I was
Yeah.
listening to some of those, but yeah, maybe look up, I don't know. The first one that comes to mind is like Set Me on Fire. And yeah, if you like velvety, I don't know, like voice that he's just fantastic. He also gets a bit harsh at times, and Zeal and Arda are fantastic. Like they do some great stuff. They sort of push my boundaries right to the edge of what I think is bearable, but it's I don't know.
So this is a collaboration of the singer Seal and his friend.
I don't even know what
Oh,
that is.
um,
Seal has a velvety voice for sure. Or are
yeah,
you actually talking?
right.
Yeah, okay. But I think let me have a quick look. Let's have a look here. Yeah, Zealanada. How would I describe these guys? I'm just trying to find a quick thing for them. We might have to. Oh, look, it doesn't matter. Maybe if I
First,
can.
I thought it was a Oceanian thing,
Okay,
like New
so
Zealand otter.
no, Zealand Arda is the African American soul gospel influenced black metal. It's the brainchild of Manuel Gagnow, however that's pronounced. He moved from his native Switzerland to New York and took up his moniker Zealanada, having previously released music under the name Bird Mask. There you go.
Is it black as in skin, or
He is
as
dark.
in,
He's dark skinned, and he does sing
or is it
actually.
black metal in the traditional
It's both.
Norwegians? Yeah, it's both.
It's
Okay.
both. Yeah, no, he screams. And this is where he pushes my limits. And so
Yeah.
some of it's, you get these. Look, this is totally up your alley. Now that I think about it,
Okay.
so like it's darker and heavier than maybe what you're into recently or what you'd listened to lately. But he's look, he's quite clearly. Create like it's commentary. The albums are all commentary on like peoples who have been repressed and what it's like to be sort of him in the world and his people in the world. And so it does definitely have. It's funny you say that about sort of is he black because he is. But yeah, it's look. He's just got that gospel soul influence stuff is fantastic. There's some really lovely like just timbre in his voice. But yeah, he does scream, and there's some rage here. And so when it comes to his, the reason I like his Bird Mask stuff is because he's not quite as harsh. And so if you want to go the heavy way, go Zeal and Ardor. And if you want to go his more melodic side of things, maybe check out a few singles from Bird Mask.
Oh,
That's
cool.
probably
Yeah, that sounds very intriguing. Oh, and also, I know you're a fan, so Lunatic Soul also released a new single. Have you checked that out?
Lunatic Soul. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Lunatic Soul.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought it
yeah,
was unbelievable.
yeah.
I'm
Cool,
excited. I absolutely loved Through Shaded Woods, which was, I think, the most recent album. But I'm very excited about that one.
I
And
actually, like I said, that having had a hard time with lunatic, lunatic.
Lunatic.
Well, I
There
don't
we
know
go.
why I'm putting the emphasis on the U or the yeah. But yesterday I listened to before going to bed. I listened to not their latest, but the one before that. Oh, geez, what was the name of that? Um, Kind of like a face, a red and a black face on the cover.
Oh,
And
right.
I
The
actually,
under the fragmented sky.
yeah, and
Yep.
I got it. It clicked. Uh, so
That
I'm
album
also.
That album
Yep.
has some good stuff in it, like, doesn't it? Like, it really has some good stuff. I think it's Untamed. I absolutely
Yeah,
adore.
that's the last track. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think
That's the
that's
finisher.
that's that's my favorite track on the album. I've played that a lot. Um, yeah.
And what I then discovered was that the on that track he does not do the drums, but he has a different drummer, and it's funny because that drummer has been in a band called Unsung, and now this new single is called Life Under Unsung, right? So I don't know if there's you know a, a connection there.
I had no idea about that, and that's a very cool little find there. Like, it's, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
We'll have to find out. We'll have to send them a message and see if they get back to us and say, is there something going on here?
Yeah,
But
and I think
is
and that's
it's
also I can't pronounce his name because it's Polish, but he's the one who plays drums on Lunatic Soul. At least on previous albums, he's played the drums.
yeah, right.
I guess that one maybe was too complex for Duda to because
Mm,
most of the stuff is kind of slow stuff on that album.
mm. Did you know that he refuses to use a guitar in this, don't you?
Oh, he's using
He
the piccolo bass.
Yeah, so he refuses to use a conventional guitar in any of the Lunatic Soul stuff. So he tries to
Okay,
work around that. And so everything is all
yeah,
about like trying to get maybe some similar noises out of like bass guitars and like acoustic basses as well from the previous album Through Shaded Woods. So there's some really sort of funky and interesting stuff that's going on. And I read somewhere that this new album that's going to be released is going to be placed in the timeline for him as the second album, I think, and because he's actually got a timeline as well. So
mm,
so it's all themed, and he's I think he's got this like grand machination that is like the world that is the unit, the Lunatic Soul thing, and he's just like filling in the gaps now and like picking different parts of that world to play through. So I'm excited because this sounds a little bit maybe darker, whereas the last one was very sort of folksy and stuff, which I loved. But I'm interested to see where this will go.
dang,
Yeah, there you go.
cool.
But
All
yeah,
right,
good call, good call. I forgot about that. Well,
all right,
look,
man.
yeah, thank you for joining me, Simon. Thank you, everyone else, for joining us too. That was cool. It's funny that we do all of these different shows, but I always feel like the best stuff is in what we've been listening to lately episodes. It's weird, isn't it?
I love doing them. It's not the ones that draw the most attention, but I love doing them.
It's a good thing we're not in it to draw attention.
Yeah,
Although it would be
yeah.
nice. It would be nice to be able to sort of interact with more people. So we're planning to continue this venture moving forwards. And if you could like, subscribe, and share maybe to a few other people, that would be great. We'd really appreciate it, especially as two small sort of, I don't know what you'd call us. We're definitely not
Uh,
influencers.
no.
Well, look,
uh,
I'm not an influencer, that's for sure. Maybe you'll become one day. Um,
I doubt it. All right.
but anyway, thanks for joining us, everyone. Thank you, Simon. I appreciate it. And yeah, till next week. What are we doing next
Yes.
week? Ooh,
Katatonia um, album study.
yeah, cool. A breakdown. I love that. So we're going to be delving into Katatonia. So for you guys who love melancholy metal, let's go check it out. I'll see you
We're
guys
not doing
then.
the last one. We're doing the
One
one
before
before that.
that. That's right. Yeah, Sky Void of Stars. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Very optimistic
Yes, we
title.
are. Kind of.
Good stuff.
All right. I'll see you guys later. Thanks so much for joining us. Peace out, everyone. Bye.
Peace.